Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. So today, guys, we have my guest, Miss Alexis House. So I'm going to give you guys a little backstory about how I know Alexis. But first, let me say this is probably our fourth or fifth video through Power Management Group. And so, if some of you are watching for the first time, basically, Power Management Group is my company. I'm Latoya Amos. And so what I do is bring you guys reliable resources. I am a business coach and mentor, and I do financial empowerment sessions with you guys. And I just try to bring you guys credible people, in their industry to help you out with whatever it is that you need. So if there's ideas that you guys have, guest speakers that you would like for me to bring on, like let me know, okay? So today we're going to dive into the fashion industry and business women moguls. And like I said before, we have Miss Alexis House here. And she's
Hi.
actually a native to the Shreveport area, but she made a pivot and moved to Houston some time back. We'll talk about that and really dive into what she's doing now. This lady here gave me my start. Okay. So when I was starting my boutique, my online store at the end of 2013, early 2014, I reached out to Alexis because I could not get anybody here in Shreveport to help a sister out. Like seriously, I was new and learning and just didn't know, kind of which way to go. And she was putting on the very first fashion show that Shreveport had, the Bayou Fashion Show, and it was huge. And I just reached out to her to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Will you help me? And she and I messaged back and forth for a while. And then I remember this clearly. She texted me like the next day and was like, hey, I'm doing this fashion show. Would you like to come and help and be a part? And so, I jumped on it, and just being around her, she is such a beautiful person, just positive person. I really learned a lot. And, you know, I'm always about reaching back and letting people know that helped you and pulled you up. Thank you. That is so important. Building relationships with me is so important. And I just want you to know, Alexis, I appreciate you for everything that you did for me. Just even keeping the doors open, the communication and stuff, even after you left. That is so like it's very valuable. And I appreciate you for that. And I appreciate you for doing this with me today. So we're gonna dive in. I want you to introduce yourself and take the platform, and we'll just roll with it.
Okay. Oh, you make me cry almost.
It's
Well, I
true.
truly, is it some feedback?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So I'm going to turn my other blue bar. We had a little technical difficulty, but we're here, y'all. Um, Overall, my name is Alexis House. I am the CEO and fashion designer buyer for Zayla and Vic. It is an online women contemporary fashion showroom. Um, what can I say about that? Zayla is my name, Alex backwards. Vic is my mother, who is now deceased, for Vicky. So that's where the name comes from. A lot of people ask me all the time, where is Zayla Vic, or they call it Exla. And I'm like, no, it's Zayla. That's where the name comes from. I started this brand 2012, 2013 in Shreveport, Louisiana. And it happened quick. Let me say that. I'm not even gonna go through this long little story. I'm just gonna hit the bullet points. It happened very quick. I launched my brand. I basically left the radio station, stepped out on faith, and I was like, I'm gonna take this full throttle. And I did. And when I hit the ground, it was just like blessings on top of blessings start coming my way. Being asked to do the first big fashion show that Shreveport Bossier never had. I had bought people from
It was
BT.
amazing.
It was just things that
Yeah.
my creative thought and mind just took over. I was well connected with the BT Viacom network. So it's easy for me to contact those people to, hey, my hometown hasn't seen this before. I wanted to implement them into the show. So, like I said, my life just kind of just turned quickly. And my love for fashion has always been since I was little. I've always designing. I'm not gonna say I always did it, but I did do it at a young age. I started designing my own clothing and started slowly making them. And then once I got older, I kind of got out of the little way of it. And I want to go to the mall a lot, but I still had a love for it. I grew from that part, and it's just crazy because I'm just like, people now ask me to speak, and I'm like, oh my God, like my life has drastically changed. What I can say is being in the industry for me, it has molded me. I'm not going to say that I've been this perfect person. My business has been perfect. No, it hasn't. I actually stopped my business, I believe, in 2 years after I started. I actually took a break from it, a mental break. I don't regret the mental break. I regret that I shut down my social media page because I had to start over.
Lex, because I did the same thing. I think in probably like the end of 2016, I took a break as well, because what people don't understand is it's a lot. I think it's a lot harder than having a brick and mortar. If you having an online store, there's so much more work, and people don't understand that. How was that for you? What made you decide, okay, I need to take a step back and look at some things and then try to come back at this again?
Okay, let's get to the tea.
Yeah.
So what made me end it was I was in a horrible relationship, a very, very bad relationship that was not healthy for myself and my daughter. And it was to the point where it was toxic and I had to leave. And in order for me to leave, I had to literally shut down everything and focus on my mental health and the well-being for myself and my child. Yeah. No, it wasn't abusive, but it was going to get to that level if I would have stayed. So I exit everything completely. I just shut down. I moved back to Houston because I used to live in Houston. I was only back home for like a year and a half to 2 years, where I was taking that little, just had a baby type of situation. I wanted to come home and be with my mom. So I'm just going to keep it real. A bad relationship is what actually made me discontinue my business at that time. I just wasn't in the space, the place to actually continue it. So I took a pause. I took a break from everything, everyone. And I actually went back to school. I actually went to school, fashion school, actually. So I ended up enrolling into fashion school. And that's when I started to learn, like, hey, in order to be in this industry, you kind of need to know some foundation rules. Because working with BET VH1, it's all good. But at the same token, they really didn't like to pay you. And working with different celebrities and styling them, they don't really like to pay you. Wow. So I kind of wanted to learn the back end of things. I wanted to learn how to work in high-end retail, which I was already doing. And that's a great benefit that I was able to actually move back and work at somewhere that I was at, which was the Men's Warehouse. Okay. So during that time in my life, I chose me first. I chose my daughter. And then I started putting myself in positions where education came first. That's the first foundation that I felt like I needed, being in the fashion industry, being in New York, being in Atlanta, working with celebrities. I needed to know the terminology. I needed to know the back end of how to run a business and become successful in the business. So that's how everything just kind of happened. It was not I had to shut down because, it's not going right. No, everything was going great. That's the thing. It was too great. But being in a relationship or being in a toxic relationship, that could be friends, family, spouse, boyfriend, whoever it may be. But those things can really damage a person. And I actually took that back. I wanted to reclaim me. And so that's how I end up starting over and revamping Zayla Vick. Yeah. Now that I've rebranded, graduated, and I'm here today. Yeah. I followed you the whole time. I mean, I remember when you were leaving Shreveport, making that transition,
and just trying to get your feet on the ground. And you had so many great opportunities. Because I remember we were talking about the flight attendant thing. Remember that?
Oh my God. Yes, girl. Listen, no one believes that I got hired as a flight attendant.
Yeah.
You remember? Oh
Yes,
my
I do.
gosh.
I do, because we were still talking and stuff then. I was
Yes.
keeping up with you and baby girl, because it was just the one at the time. And I was checking in on you and stuff. I remember it all. And then I remember when you decided to go back to school, to go to fashion design school and stuff. I was so excited about. I just knew that there was going to be nothing but good things. And so I get here that I always tell people, for some people here in our hometown, they're fine with things as long as things are going their way. People get very complacent. But I always want people to reach outside their back door or whatever, because you still have to learn and grow. And you can't wait until things get bad and then decide, oh, I ain't making enough, the business ain't doing this and that. No, you have to constantly be a student of your craft, and you constantly have to be learning. Like, you have to be. That's why I love people that love what they do and a student of their work, because they always learning. They're always learning. And I think you just took the right steps. You were like, okay, this is what I want. But like you said, I need to learn the business part of it, because see, you had already been privy to what some of us want. They want to work with them celebrities. They want to be with VH1 and, and BET and all these other Bravo and whoever else. But when you don't know the business and you walk in blindly, then they upset when things don't go their way, because what you see is on what's on the screen, the glitz and the you don't know how it goes on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to know your stuff so you don't get met, because it is the entertainment industry still at the end of the
And
day.
they are entertainers.
They're entertainers. And like, let's be honest, a lot of them, they're getting free stuff and things like that or whatever as well. So people get used to that. Then you come in and you trying to get paid. And they like, well, who gonna pay her? Because I'm not.
Yep. And that was one of the biggest things that in the industry at the time. I think that was the time when reality shows starting to come.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, we all had to get it out the mud. Everybody that you see at that time, during that time, they all were trying to get it out the mud. So it was a bartering. It was that type of situation.
Yeah.
Hey, you post me, you say I did this is what you're gonna get in return. But then it started getting to the point when you start knowing your worth. And that's when we have to learn to identify your worth as being an entrepreneur or just a person in general.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know when they're starting to smooch off of you. And to this day, some people say, well, why don't you do it anymore? Because they're smoochers.
Yeah.
They still do the same thing. And they'll prey on the new. They'll prey on the upcoming people that are trying to get out there and see how much they can get. But a veteran, they're not going to do it anymore.
No.
Because they already know.
Yeah.
So my best advice is, if that is something that you are wanting to do and work with celebrities, number one, contract. Get a contract. Mm-hmm. Implement a contract. Have them or their business manager, whoever it may be, get you an attorney to look over it. Have them sign one, because if you are going to give a service or render pieces to them, they have to understand it's within an allotted time that they need to either post or wear the garment, because a lot of times they would just keep it and don't even care.
I have had that happen to me in my early days, and it wasn't even with celebrities. It was with people that we know, and they're having things, and so you dress them, and you have to run people down about your stuff.
And you should never do that.
And it's like, and I had to learn, like you said, contract. When that happened to me, I was like, okay, this won't happen again. Got a contract. Same thing like social media posts. At the end of the day, especially when you, like I said, especially when you don't have a store or a storefront and your online business is your presence, you expect people to post that and tag you. This is where I got, this is what I'm wearing, earrings, hair, whatever. You have to get all of that stuff in writing and have people to, to sign or whatever, that's what they're going to do. And then if they don't do that, then you just don't do business with them anymore. Because all, let's be honest, we all in business. Everybody got some kind of business. And
Yes.
it doesn't matter. I don't care if you do t-shirts, if you do cakes, it don't matter what it is. We all need that in order for our brand to grow. You know, you're trying to
Yes, we
create.
do.
Yes, it is.
And I agree with you. Sometimes it can be your closest, like you said. A lot of times when you're in a smaller setting, or even if you're a smaller business, we call them micro influencers and bloggers. They're also the same. They may not be of a celebrity status, but they are still people that can get your stuff out and people can actually view and see it, and they will still do the same. I still do it. When it comes to influencers, which is crazy, I I have prayed for my influencers. I was creating this big old media kit to give out to influencers, but my two influencers reached out to me, and I felt like it was all God, because I was looking, and they said they both messaged me within the same week, and they don't even know each other. And they said, "Hey, you look overwhelmed. Can I help you?" And I was like, "Girl, yes, like, who are you?" And it just opened up that door because they saw that I needed the help, but they're also an influencer. And like I said, it's a cycle. You just said it. It's all, everybody is in business. And if I can help you and you can help me, and then we can help the next person, it's all blessings going to go. Because I always say it's enough out there for everybody.
It is more than enough.
It's more than enough. Because just because I like peaches doesn't mean you like peaches. But you may know somebody that like peaches. So you'll say, "Hey, she got the best peaches over here. You might want to go over here and buy them. I'm not big on them, but you." So it's all about the word of mouth and learning who you connect and work with. That's never gonna end.
And just like you said,
it's who
like,
you know.
Like you make that example, like just because you may not be big on that, but somebody else is, you still don't talk down about somebody else's business. You know, people have a tendency to do that. Just because they're not a big fan of it, they speak negative, which takes away business from people. You know,
Yes.
I just that's something that I want us to stop doing that.
So my
because
motto
you don't
is,
never know who you're gonna need, and you don't. We all have a different demographic. You know what I'm saying? And you never know who you're gonna need. But if I find out you talk that way about my business, and then I have somebody that come through, I may not send them to you.
Exactly. And I can give this as a great reference. I just spoke to a young lady on yesterday, and she's like, "I want to take your mentorship program." And I went to XYZ and I didn't find this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Hey, I've heard it before. I've had students leave that person to come to me." I said, "What I can say, I'm not going to badmouth because I'm happy for wherever she is in life." I said, "But this is what I can offer you." I just had to cut it really close, like really quick, because I'm not going to badmouth another woman for doing the same thing that I'm doing. Everyone teaches different. Everyone has different ways of how they run and operate. My thing is to never talk about, because I can be that person later on. And I never want to knock my blessings. So I always tell people, good energy. I don't want to hear. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But this is what I can do to help you. So I've been more of a person to just, I want to help. I don't capitalize off of money to draw people, get money from people. I think a lot of people more gravitate to me is because it's from my heart, and I generally truly just like helping people. They say the saying, "Know your worth," right? And I've said that. But sometimes you have to scale back and say, "Well, I was just here. So why would I charge someone this amount when I was just there and I couldn't afford it?" So I always look at everyone, and I always say, if I'm able to help someone just a little or just enough to get them to where they are, I feel like I've already reached I tell people, humanitarian, because that's what I try to be in life. I just feel like I'm able to bless them and let them know that I'm here. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to motivate you and help you as much as I can. So ladies and gentlemen are watching, always remember, Never knock the next person, because you never know. You might have to go back down that same road again.
Yes.
You only supposed to uplift and encourage each other, because at the end of the day, people keep saying buying Black. If we're gonna buy Black, we got to support the Black, even though if that customer service is not good, then encourage them, show them, teach them.
Right.
I tell
And
people
ask
all the
questions,
time,
because you never know why the customer
never
service is
know.
not good. You don't know if maybe the key person that was doing something, they had to fire them or they left. You know, like things happen, which when that happens, it shows in the business, you know.
Yes.
And so it's like you said, you can pull a person to the side and say, hey, I noticed this. Do you guys need help in this area? Or this may be something that can help you along. I notice it's taking a while for you to do X, Y, Z. But if you start a conversation and you ask questions, you'll be surprised what you find out.
Right.
Like,
I call it customer feedback.
yes.
I tell each of my customers, hey, I love feedback. Feedback is my biggest thing. If you can tell me something where I'm lacking, let me know.
Right.
How else will I grow?
Right.
There is no way for me to grow if you're not telling me, hey, this, you need to work on this. I'm all for the positive. Tell me.
Because most people, they want to hear it. And most of us, our businesses are our babies. We all say it. We sensitive about our stuff.
Yes.
You know, but really we want to know if there's an area that we can do better. Please let me know, you know, that way I can work on that. Because if you're saying it, 10 other people are probably saying it as well. And like you said,
and you know, the one thing I don't like is when they say, this is why I don't support Black owned business. I always say that, well, that's rude, but then why do you continue to come back then?
Right.
Because I always tell people, think about Target. Are you going to start going to Target because they forgot to put your watermelon in your bag?
They still go to Walmart.
Walmart too. So I always tell people, you give more credit to the billion-dollar company versus what you'll give somebody that's trying. But then they also not realizing that that small business owner is probably just one person. So they are the owner, the shipper, the tracking, the QC, they the photographer, they the model, they the editor, they're everything. And truth be told, I do all of that in my own business today. You would think having the business that I have now, that I am running a business with a whole bunch of employees. Absolutely not. I learned to structure it in a way and use the keywords to let them, to differentiate me being the boss versus an employer. So I tell people 2 key things. You're the boss and you have a virtual employer. My virtual employer, her name is Lauren, and I have another one named Jade. Those 2 girls are me. They're still me. But it puts me in another space when I respond to customers or when I'm doing other things, because it's not me being the CEO. Once I say I'm the CEO, it's 1,000 things gonna come my way. But if you implement a virtual person, and you can still go online and get a virtual, but if you put like just a avatar of a person that's not real, start saying those things. When you're sending out emails, don't put your name. You put the other person's name, because it's going to let them see, hey, okay, this is a real business. It's just not that person, even though they don't know it. For you, because as a business owner,
you gotta be having to be in the forefront all the time. Touchable. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And it's hard.
And also sometimes people don't respect you. I do know about that issue. They feel like you're accessible, is what I'm trying to say, all the time. And when they feel like that there's no separation, I can get her whenever, you know, I just reach out to her whenever. It's almost like your time doesn't matter.
And so I will say I am bad me. I have done that. I have spoiled my customers. A lot of my customers have my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. I will tell you guys, my brand is absolutely big on customer service. I contact almost all my customers.
Yeah, I love it.
I contact them. And my boyfriend gets mad when I say these words. Well, you have my personal contact number. So if you ever need me, don't hesitate. You can call or text me. And then they're like, what?
But I bet you they return though, don't they?
And they come back.
Yeah.
But what I had to learn was put a cutoff. So even if they text me in the middle of the night, I don't respond until 10 o'clock the next day. Yeah. I had to discipline myself. Yeah. And I think once they start noticing, like, okay, she still is a human, they don't bother me as before they were. Right. And I had to come sometimes say, hey, y'all, it's 12 o'clock. What you shopping for? Yeah. Go to bed. But having a relationship with them is very important. But I always tell them, hey, if I continue to get bigger and bigger, just know I may not be that accessible, but I will have people in place to give the same type of love and energy that I give you. The same. It's going to be the same. I want that to be what my brand stands on, calling the customers, learning customers. I could tell you, the beauty is when I call my customers and I learn what they do or what their career is, it's amazing. I'll be like, what? This is what you do? I didn't know you shop with me. Like, and you open up more opportunities and more avenues of learning different people and the word of mouth, because
they bring you into what they're doing.
Exactly. So I tell, I coached one girl yesterday and I told her, I said, learn to contact your customers. Tell them thank you for shopping with you. Tell them that you value them. Let them know that you appreciate them. Or just send a simple text. Hey, just checking on you and your family, hoping you guys have a great weekend. It doesn't take a lot, but it sets you apart from all the other brands. It doesn't make them feel like you just took their money and that was it.
Yeah, especially with the way things are changing in retail, and customer service is such a lost art now, that matters so much. Those of us that came up in a certain time period and, worked these places and know what it was to have good customer service and had to be on it because it wasn't played, I think we still value that, and we want people to know that we do care and their dollar means a lot to us.
That's the number one thing.
It does. I want to ask you about networking in Houston. When you got there, so how did all of that work, and what are some things you're doing now, within your business and networking?
Okay, networking. Girl, my networking when I first moved back out to Houston was nothing. I was just out, just being free from that bad relationship.
Right.
However, during that time when I was out, I still talked about my business though. It was just something that I couldn't get out of my system. However, once I did rebrand, social media, and then I just started going on to Eventbrite and seeing different opportunities for networking. And I tell people, number one rule is dress to impress, because if you dress to impress, people are going to want to know, what do you do? So I always came top notch. I'm a talker person. I love to talk. We know that. But what I didn't do when I network, I didn't talk. I allowed them to talk to me and ask me questions. So if you're a person that likes to talk a lot, don't talk. Not saying be mute.
I know, but listen.
Allow people to come to you and start talking, and you listen to them and listen about their business. And then once they're done, then you engage and talk about what you do. So I still keep all the cards that I've ever gotten. I don't throw those away. I have two card boxes full of cards that I received from networking events, meeting people. The networking industry out here is fun. They play a lot of games. I went to one where you had to go to different people. It was like a bingo game. And it was like you had to ask different questions, like, where did you go to college? Or what's something someone doesn't know about you? I like those type of networking events because it takes the pressure off of people
Mm-hmm.
of feeling like, oh my God, I'm not perfect at what I do. So I like the happy hour networking events. I highly recommend, since it's spring, summer, take advantage of the outside rooftops. That will always drive people. I say stay away from a lot of the indoor type of networking events, as far as like the ones in the evening time.
Yeah.
Unless it's at an indoor outdoor restaurant. The reason being, when you start to sit, you get complacent in that area. You don't want to move more. I tell them I like networking events where it's not a lot of seating.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes you have to get up and mingle.
Yep.
You gotta mingle.
You gotta move around.
You got to. Networking events I do not really like are the ones that have a lot of vendors. I'm not gonna say there's nothing wrong with it because I've been a vendor, but I feel like it's kind of hard for the vendor to actually get out and network.
Yes.
You know, it's the opportunity. I tell people that's the offset of the person throwing it being able to pay for the venue itself. True. So I just feel like sometimes it can be a little too much when you have the vendors there and then you have the networking. It's just too much. So I don't really like to go to those. Just per se, it's just, I feel like it's not fair. Yeah. What I will say about Houston networking events, they keep it spicy. Okay. They do. I've been to one where you dance. It was all just Spanish music and you're dancing. I just like different things like that of networking. Right now, what I'm doing for networking is social media again. I'm trying to find my way in not getting in cliquish type groups. Because I feel like when you put yourself in those, you kind of limit yourself of growing. Yeah. Because people tend to, and we're women, we tend to kind of, oh, well, if she's doing this, I only want to support that. I don't think that's fair. Mm-hmm. So I like to just join different women groups where it's multiple and I can just move around. Right. I just don't like those ones where it's just like, this is our group and this is we're only going to support within the group. That's not how you grow. Mm-hmm. It's not how you can't be successful like that. Right. So I'm actually going to one this evening and it's an all white event. Oh, nice. So I say, if you go looking, look for ones that have themes. Those really kind of break up a lot. Okay. Takes the pressure off. So we'll see how this all white one goes today. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited, it's actually at a hair vendor spot. Oh. So, and I'm really excited because I have really been wanting to learn more about this particular female. And she's, oh my God, I'm going to see her information. She's mega. Okay. She does real estate, hair. She owns her own suites. It's just her energy, her level. Yeah. And she's so pure and sweet. And I have never met her face to face, but just her presence on social media has just pulled me in to her. Mm-hmm. And she said, hey, my networking event is this day and we're wearing all white. And I was like, sign me up. Yeah. I'm going to be there. So I like being around good energy. Movers and shakers and people that's excited about what they're doing. And then especially when they pull you in, when somebody, sees something in you and say, hey, I want you to come over here, check out what I'm doing. That makes me like a person even more. I say run to them. Yeah. Don't be like too, but run like, I'm on it. Where you at right now? Like that kind of thing. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I'm one of those. Where are you? You want to meet now? Okay, we can go. Yeah. Because it's something that's drawing them to you. Mm-hmm. It's something. Mm-hmm. And I want to be in that room. Right. Right. Yes. Okay. So just a couple more things. We're going to wrap up real quick. So tell me about the champagne business. What's it called? Champagne Exchange. Is that what it is? The Champagne Exchange. Yes. That business is for my daughters. I created the Champagne Exchange probably about 2-3 years ago. I'm big on generational wealth. Sorry, that's the dog in the background. Generational wealth is really big to me right now. Let me kind of close this song. And the Champagne Exchange is a mobile champagne bar. Basically, it was the easiest thing that I could think of that will generate not just money, but something that I love as well. Even though my kids are underage, I just felt like something that people weren't doing. And I have a love for champagne, Prosecco, and I just wanted something girly. The reason I started this was prior to the pandemic. It was prior to that. I was like, I wanted to create something that, in case my showroom didn't work out, what could I do? That's really what that came from. And I said, well, what can I do that I love and I think people would love? And I was like, champagne. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking of things. I actually created a champagne truck. And at the time, it was so hard to kind of customize the truck to what I wanted to be. So I said, well, let me start small. So then we created the cart. And let's just say we are always booked.
So is that something that if someone else wants to get in on that business, that are like a franchise?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll have to get that information.
Franchising.
Yes.
We will be franchising probably this summer. Okay. We've been really working hard on it. We had the radio station reach out to us and actually wants bigger, how should I say, like cognac brands and things like that to sponsor us because they actually love it. Mm-hmm. And that was, like I said, it was something that I was like generational wealth. I need my kids to start setting them up for everything they need in life. And now it's become one of these things. It's a hit at every party, every birthday party, every wedding, every engagement. We're always being asked. We just was asked to do a surprise engagement party last weekend. Oh, nice. It's a business that number one, everyone loves alcohol, just about, not everyone, but I implemented it where we do mocktails as well. So even if you do not drink champagne, we can still incorporate it with mocktails. We can do other different things. We have something else that we are actually implementing, which I can't really talk about, but it has nothing to do with alcohol at all. Well, actually has to deal with flowers. So I'm excited. The Champagne Exchange, like I said, right now we have 2 major contracts with 2 art galleries. Okay. So I look at things like that. I love the parties, but I also look at longevity and I like contracts because that basically, is guaranteed. And so we have to do those at the end of the month, like guaranteed at the art gallery. And kid you not, sometimes you have to give a little just to get more in return. Right. And so that's pretty much has happened with us being booked out.
Oh, well, when you get all that together, let me know because we're going to bring that up to Shreveport.
Yes, I will. It will be there in July.
Okay.
I can tell you that much on that part will be there. Okay. And our truck, which I can't wait to reveal, is a full-fledged truck.
I know it's going to be so pretty.
And it has 4 taps.
I can't wait. Yes. So, yes. Well, I appreciate you being here. I want to say congratulations on everything that you have going on.
Thank you.
We're going to get back together because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a trip to Houston and then I want to see the showroom so we could do a walkthrough and see the day in the life of Alexis House. I want to continue this because I'm so excited about everything you got going on.
Thank you.
I read the article that you were in for the Houston magazine, The Voyage Houston in 2019. And I was just like, wow, so you have a lot of great things going on and I don't expect anything less, of course. So I don't expect anything less. So I appreciate you though. Thank you for taking
Thank
the time
you.
out. And let's get together soon. Let's plan some
Yes,
things and keep some things going because I'm sure I'm gonna need your help. I'm trying to get Leophine back up and going. So yes,
I'm here.
yes.
You just let me know.
I
I'm right
will.
here.
Okay,
Thank you
guys.
so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And I'll make sure I tag your information, so they can follow you on your social media pages. Go ahead and tell them though how to follow you on Instagram and everything.
Okay, so my Instagram is at Zayla. That's XELAANDVIC. Zayla and Vic. And ooh, the Champagne Exchange.
Yeah.
The Champagne
Yes.
Exchange. I just spell all that out.
So make sure you guys go over and follow her on IG, and so you can keep up with what she has going on. Like I said, and I will make sure that that's on the page as well. So thank you,
Yes,
Alexis. Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
And guys,
Good
I will
seeing
see y'all
you.
again next time. Bye.